I know in my last video I talked about web service, and a lot of people when they talk about web services, they're talking about them from a deployment standpoint. And what I wanted to talk about web services for is more toward the application design and how it fits into that SOA architecture. So here, what you're looking at is a basic design of a rich internet application where most of the back and forth is going to come from here, from the web services, not so much from your database. So it's not directly tied to your database. Rich internet applications, RIAs, a web-based application that have some characteristics of the graphical desktop application. RIAs can be faster, more engaging, and they're typically a little better in a sense because you don't have to go back and forth to that web application server to get content. It'll probably have most of that content already in there. Web services can be deployed as synchronous services or asynchronous services, meaning that it doesn't have to wait for the response from that web service. So they can actually continue processing and wait for the data to come from that service and then again put it into what you see on the screen. This offers you a lot more versatility than classic web applications and also over your two-tier client-server application, because although it would mimic some of that design, but you'd also be bringing in some of that web architecture as well. One of these applications is exclusively PowerBuilder, and another one is exclusively Java. Which one is exclusively PowerBuilder? Which one is exclusively Java? They look the same from the login, but which one is it? So if I log in one of them, then I can find out which one it is. Which one is it? Right now I have response from both of them. Which one is it? And if you haven't guessed by now, this has a URL. This is my Java application. This is the PowerBuilder application. Nowadays, people look at application development as a monolithic thing, that they all have to be written in one language. In reality, if you have an SOA architecture, you really don't have to limit yourself. It doesn't limit development, and it allows you to do a lot of different things because it's not connected directly to your database. So you can look at data now as more like an object as opposed to just to something that you connect to the database and then display it, whether it's in HTML or whether it's on an application screen. In PowerBuilder, here you have a screen here. This data window is all XML. In this XML, you see the fields and you see the data that's supposed to go into those fields. All right. This is like a little small demonstration application. So when I click this next button, it's going to turn that XML into a classic data window that you would see in PowerBuilder. And these just allow you to change the colors and change the fonts and stuff here on this demo application. So how would PowerBuilder work with web services? Let's take a look at some more of this. I put this weather call, which is going to go out to the National Weather Service and pull the weather for here in Richmond, Virginia. And right now it's mostly cloudy, 79 degrees. And here's what it looks like in the code. Basically, all I'm doing here is parsing this XML and then telling PowerBuilder to display it. That's all I'm doing here. And here is the call to the National Weather Service for Richmond, Virginia. hopefully in the next version of PowerBuilder you won't have to do any custom coding, that it would actually pull these elements for us. That would be nice, Appian. And then that way all you would just simply have to do is just make the service call. Like over here in the Java world, they have these type of things, these type of plugin. And essentially I have it down here. Same thing, making the same service call. Goes out to the National Weather Service, but it's going to bring it up in the browser. The exact same call. If you look at the URL here, same thing. Same URL. So when I talk about rich internet applications, if you had that SOA architecture in existence that can make these type of service call, that data can be now on your desktop, on your browser, and potentially on any mobile device that you want it on. And that frees you up from that data being bound to the tables. The data becomes more like objects, and you can share that across any platform, across multiple devices. It wouldn't make sense to spend upwards of $50-something million on rebuilding an infrastructure that you already have as far as data is concerned, simply to do the same thing, just to use the Java technology. That's insane in today's world, especially when you can do that probably a lot cheaper, and if you built that SOA architecture. One of the things I hope with the next version of PowerBuilder, they have some events that is more toward the touchscreen operation. Maybe you can have like a swipe event or something. This is kind of difficult to control in just the usual events. So if you're working on a mobile device like this, so if I want to utilize with the mobile technology one of these like pens or something, I want to be able to have better control. I can program this stuff. It's kind of clumsy because this is designed for a mouse event, so it's not really picking up what I need it to do. So I click on it. So this is kind of clumsy a little bit. I want to be able to control this with my PowerBuilder code. And finally, an update on my child welfare application. I was working with a vendor here. Let me log in here. And what I was thinking with this is when you come into this application, the worker will see what their supervisor has set up on their active cases and their active investigations. And then they will be able to work on those by understanding their ticklers that are for each case. So if I clicked on an adoption case, I would see the outstanding ticklers for the adoption case. If I came over here and pulled out an investigation and clicked on one of the investigations, same kind of thing at the bottom, the worker would then know, if I clicked on this, here's the outstanding supervisor request for that family assessment or investigation.